It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask them, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school. Been recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationships with the University of Miami.
Patton, another good block, and Toretto lays it out. Touchdown, Miami.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSport.com, Lamar Thomas.
Good evening, LT.
Gary, we beat the freaking Crocodiles. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about that win. Really? Did that freeze up again?
Now you're okay.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm excited about that win. I mean, I can't, Gary, we beat the Crocodiles, and what a win. You know, a win is a win to me. At one point in the third quarter, I ain't gonna lie, I was hoping for just one point. I didn't care. But the fact is we were able to win and go out convincingly and pretty much bury them in the fourth quarter. I'm okay with it. So it's been a happy weekend for me. I'm still on a high, and man, what a game. What a game.
Well, let's start out welcoming everybody to another edition of the Lamar Thomas Show. It's a Wednesday night tradition presented, as always, by Caneswear. And I'm going to get them up here on the screen now. And you can visit their store even on an open week at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. You can shop them at caneswear.com. You see a lot of the Caneswear merchandise behind Lamar and myself tonight, and we'll be talking more about Caneswear, but it is the spot. If you're a Canes fan and you want to load up, we got a great season going on here. Caneswear is your destination for all your Miami Hurricanes merchandise needs, no matter what they might be. You know, T-shirts, polos, jerseys, things for your pet, you know, magnets, hats, so you name it.
Socks.
They have it at CaneSport. They got a lot of good stuff. So we'll be talking more about Caneswear, but we got to talk about these Miami Hurricanes. And you know, LT, it's a little bit bizarre, okay? Because you know, obviously you beat Notre Dame, you beat Florida, great victories. Both those games in the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter were anybody's football game. Okay, right. Like, let's keep it real. Like, that is scary stuff. Yeah, here we are with number 2 in the country. Everybody's talking about how Miami is the best team that they've seen so far in this college football season. Nick Saban's calling that rat poison. I get it. But when you go down to late in the fourth quarter, and, you know, kudos to the whole team and Mario and everybody, the coordinators for winning these late stages of the fourth quarter. I mean, heck, you win this game 26-7. You wouldn't have known it was a 6-point game until the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter. So kudos to everybody for all the accomplishments and everything. But LT, is there any concern whatsoever now that you're playing for more? You know, you're being universally recognized as an elite, top shelf football team. Is there any concern at all as we go into this open week about needing to tighten up some things so that they're not in that situation in the future?
Well, Gary, there's always concern for, to get better and to stay you want to not be complacent. But I can tell you this. It's not like we were playing Texas A&M Commerce. We did play one game with Bethune-Cookman in there, and we didn't play Kent State, okay? So those two teams that you talk about, Notre Dame and the University of Florida, were pretty damn good football teams. And people can say what they want to. That Florida State, I'm already thinking that Florida defense, man.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good, man. And that's without 3 star players on their defense. So with that being said, I mean, they hung in there. Florida hung in there as much as they could. You got to put a little bit, I think, on the conditions. I mean, it was a rainy, soaky, wet night. But at the same time, we didn't turn the ball over except for that one interception. But for the most part, we pretty much dominated, I thought, for I would say 2.5 quarters in the maybe 3 quarters. We had that one lull in the third quarter, but I think we pretty much dominated the game because at one point I was thinking it was going to be a blowout, and I'm sure everybody else was. Even the Florida fans, they were about to leave, and it just turned into one of those games where all of a sudden Florida woke up and they started running the football. They took the ball out of Lagway's hands, and they started coming back. We got a little, I say on offense, maybe we dialed back a little bit, but in those type of conditions, you don't want to give the ball to the other team.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, you never make excuses. Excuses are for losers. And it was the same for both teams. But I felt like the wetness out there from the rain and the field and everything affected Miami more than Florida. Florida, they went 0 for 13 on third down. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that Florida offense wasn't going to go anywhere the whole night. How they put together an 80-yard drive in the third quarter, I was beside myself. I couldn't. I mean, like what changed? You're the Lamar coach T. You're gonna have to tell us what changed. But like, I don't understand how they had one drive where they just marched the ball down the field and they were tearing up Miami on the run game, and the whole rest of the game they couldn't do anything. It was really bizarre.
Well, I can say this, Gary. I think, again, in the third quarter, from what I saw, we gave up the edge a little bit. We've done a great job so far this year. That's one of the things that I hate watching. We've seen it so many times, the University of Miami giving up that edge, big plays happen. They were able to run the ball through some fits that weren't there correctly. Linebackers maybe hesitating a little bit, not being able to get the proper fits, and they were able to get the ball on the outside a couple of times. A big fourth down run by DJ Lagway, where they basically they ran to the side where they had the numbers. So they did some good things. I'm just very fortunate that I'm just very happy that didn't go on the whole game. And they we talked about this last week, DJ being inconsistent, poor footwork. But I think what added to that, he was running for his life. Because our D-line was humming, man. They were all over the place, making plays. Those old linemen from Florida, I'm pretty sure they slept well on the way home because they had their job cut out for them. I mean, our D-line, man, is unbelievable. And talking to a lot of UF alumni, the first thing they said was, man, you guys, your big guys are physical, man. And they're quick and abrupt. They're trying to get to DJ, and it's impressive to hear other people talk about that because again, I've said that this year I thought Mario has done a great job of building on both sides of the ball, the trenches, And this is a team that can compete with the SEC teams, and that's what SEC, I've always said, separates the SEC from other conferences. Having big, mobile, agile, and hostile guys, big guys that can move and just be quick and abrupt. So, kudos to, Mario's. I think he's finally gotten it right. Guys are playing hard. The defensive guys are swarming to the ball. It's a beautiful thing to watch. It is truly a beautiful thing to watch. Defensive linemen making plays 8-10 yards down the field. They're running down plays, jumping on the pile, and not trying to take anything and say about last year's team, but man, it would have been great to have this type of effort last year with Cam.
But sports is a little crazy. I mean, you go in at halftime 13-0, and whatever it was, the Florida coaches made some adjustments, and they came out with a different plan for the third quarter, and they were able to put that one drive together. Congratulations to them, because it made it a 13-7 game. That did not change. Okay, that happened at the 9. Let me see here. No, it was the 3:24 mark of the third quarter, and it stayed that way until the 4:08 mark of the fourth quarter. So for almost an entire quarter, Florida's sitting there within 6 points of Miami, and the Canes, like you said, they had a lull, and I think they had I can't remember if it was 3 or 4, but they had at least 3 possessions where they had a punt from the Florida 40-yard line. So they were still moving the ball, but the drives were stalling, and they were they were failing on third down, which was, where if you want to say they had problems, that's where it would have been isolated.
Yeah, those drives that were stopped, they were fortunate enough to punt the ball, keep Florida pent back where they had to drive the football. But kudos to Florida. They didn't quit, and they made it a ball game. But I like the fact that Miami was able to stand up and not the momentum was changing. Kamani McLean, he gets that great interception. The momentum was there. Florida fans were coming back from the exit, trying to get back into their seats. And by the end, Miami fans had them, so they were able to stand up to it. And this is a different ball team. I think these guys believe in each other. Obviously got a big game coming up, the biggest game of the year, but right now it seems like they truly believe in each other, Gary, and they're playing for each other. And it is a different ball club. It's not last year it was Cam Ward. This year it's more of a team effort. I might even give a little bit on the upside to the defense, but it's more of a team effort. Special teams is playing well, and they did a good job. They did not kick. They kept the ball out of Burnell Brown's hands. He's a dangerous returner. They did a great job of punting the ball. And how about the damn field goal? Where's the guy from? FAU? I'm sorry. I remember I body shamed the guy. Hell, I ain't going to do that no more. That guy can kick. That ball, man, he got that thing off. I mean, that was a beautiful draw right in there, straight down the middle. And he had a lot still left in that kick. So we have a kicker now. Special teams is playing well. It's awesome to watch. It's awesome to be a Miami fan right now.
So we're seeing a lot of pounding the football on the offensive side. A lot of focus on the running game, an obvious strength of the team. I mean, you got a great offensive line. You got running backs and Mark Fletcher and Marty Brown playing at an extremely high level.
Now, wait a minute. I thought his name was Shamar. Now, is it Marty or Shamar?
Well, his real name's Shamar, but he goes by Marty.
Well, whatever he want to be called, because he's on that damn football. So Marty it is. Marty Brown. That's the name. Remember, I told you in the beginning, 3 weeks ago, I don't know half these damn kids. But they make you want me to know your name, make some plays. And Marty Brown, Shamar, Marty, whatever you want to, Sir Brown, whatever you want to be called, sir. I mean,
he had 80 yards rushing with about a fifth. It was probably about a 50-yarder called back.
Yeah, called back. How about that? Oh man, online I see Florida fans complaining about some calls, and I'm like, hey man,
it doesn't get worse.
Touchdown? So what about that touchdown? That basically, if he scores that touchdown, you quit. You're done.
Yeah, it doesn't get worse.
It's a blowout at this point. Okay,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen, and I still can't believe they blew the whistle on that play where he was. I think what happened. This is just my opinion. The referee who blew the whistle was blocked out, and he just saw the crowd, and maybe he just saw maybe he misjudged who Marty was or whatever was going on, and he blew the whistle. But he was clearly not down.
No, and it was an SEC ref. So if he was legit, he's kicking himself for such a horrible call that could have been a season-shaping call. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that game would have been 20-0 at that point if he doesn't screw that call up. I mean, and now all of a sudden Miami's sitting there clinging to a 6-point lead till 4 minutes left in the game. Like, that could have been a season-shaping call. So if the guy's legit, he's kicking, himself for just being so poor at his job at that moment.
Wait, Gary, Dirty King thing said I believe he got a check.
Well, that's what I was that's what I was going to get to. Yeah, we'll throw that up. I mean, if he wasn't legit, then he was. It was an SEC homer call. Not going to say what it was. We don't know, but it was one or the other. It was either the worst call a referee could ever make, or it was a homer call. So, it was a shame to see it, obviously. But Marty Brown, in addition to that, he led the team in receiving, 4 catches, 53 yards. I mean, this kid came from North Dakota State, Lamar. He was not a pass receiver. Okay, he was not catching a lot of balls at North Dakota State. They run the ball. And through coaching, because I saw some rough moments early on with him catching the football, he has, through the coaching he's getting out there, he has become a legit force in the passing game. I mean, all credit to Marty Brown, man. I mean, great move coming here in the transfer portal. He's stepping up in the absence of Jordan Lyle. There's just, all you could do is just, like shoot confetti, man. I mean, this kid's getting it done, LT.
Well, I like the fact that what he's doing is he's giving Mark Fletcher a break and letting Mark Fletcher keep his wind up and keep the bruises off of him because he runs with such a bruising style. I like that because you got two guys that basically run. He has a bruising style too now, Mr. Marty Brown. He runs the ball hard. He's physical with it, but Mark Fletcher is a beast, man. He is a true beast, and to have him be able to go out the game, catch his wind, and then come in and run the football the same way or harder or with this is amazing to watch. And when Lyle comes back to have 3 of those guys, man, it's going to be – I'm going to feel for you if you can't stop the run. And I feel for you, even if you try to stack the box, your safeties are going to get dinged up. And then that's when the play action pass is going to come and we're going to hit you over the top.
Now, this was the number 1 offense in the country last year. And I'm looking up right now to get the exact number, but I believe that they are presently somewhere in the 50s. Let me get the exact number for you. It's well, let me see. Well, I'm not fighting it quick. I'm going to get it though. But the point is, they're not the number 1 offense in the country. They're 34. Okay, my bad for saying 50. They're 34. So. You concerned at all about that? I mean, they didn't figure to be lighting it up in the same way as they did last year on offense. Does that drop from 1 to 34 concern you at all?
It would if we were losing.
Right.
But right now, Gary, we played 2 tough teams. Notre Dame, good team. Florida. If they can get it right on offense, they might be okay. Right now you got a game manager back there. He's managing the games. We're not asking Carson Beck to go out and Cam Ward, be a Cam Ward. We're asking him to hand the ball off, keep us in the right plays. I don't know if he's audible or not, but keep us in the right plays. And when you're called upon, don't turn the ball over. And that's what he's doing well. That again, we go back to the Kamani McLean interception. Man, that was a hell of a play he made in cover 3. I thought watching the play, I thought personally that our receiver, I thought he was running a crossing route and he did a poor job of coming back to the ball. But that kid was running a seam route. Kamani saw the guy that he was over stop, and he jumped on the seam route and made a hell of a play. I don't think Beck saw him. If Beck would have put some air on it, then maybe it might have worked out. But I got to give Kamani a lot of respect for that. That was a great interception, and that had me a little nervous right then. Because I thought Big Mo was on their side.
Yeah. We are going to touch on the Florida State game a little bit tonight. Kez McCorvey, the great Florida State receiver, is going to be our special guest later in the show. But somebody asked me today along the lines of what I just asked you. Miami's averaging 36.8 points a game. Mm-hmm. Florida State, with the garbage competition they've been playing, is averaging 58. Somebody asked me if I was concerned about that, and I was like, you can't give any credence to any stats coming out of Tallahassee, right? Because they just have, other than Alabama, their other games have just not been real good. We'll see what they do against Virginia on Friday night. That'll be a little bit of better test. But you can't deny that Florida State, that's going to be showing up a week from Saturday, is going to be a better model of Florida State than what we saw a year ago, and I give them a lot of credit for that. Will Miami, in your eyes, have to open it up a little bit more on offense?
Well, I can tell you this, and going back to the stats you just talked about, Gary, I was looking up stats too, and when I saw they were 100% in the red zone efficiency, I said, what the hell? I really had to say, who the hell are they playing? And then, of course, I saw, other than Alabama, Texas A&M, Commerce, Commerce, and then Kent State. So you're right. You can't put too much emphasis on their stats. It's like us playing. It's like us really putting the Bethune-Cookman stats 2 times. Okay. But I think it's a better team, and to me, it all starts with the quarterback. Last year, they gambled. They lost on getting Cam Ward. They thought they had a better guy that was less money, and he ended up being Oogie Doo-Doo. So they failed on that, and you saw what happened. As the quarterback went, the team went. Okay, this year Castellano from Boston College is in there, little George Jefferson-looking guy, running around causing havoc like Doug Flutie on Sugary Flutie Flakes. Hey man, it's a different team. The little bit of highlights I saw, again, it's unfair to watch those. Guys are making plays for them, but those aren't big games. So it's kind of hard to judge. And when Kez comes on, we'll kind of ask him, how do you judge whether they're really good, or you have to always go back to the Alabama game?
Yeah, and we'll talk a lot about Florida State next week. We're going to give you a little appetizer tonight, but I'm really interested to see what they do against Virginia. All right, so on face value, I do think they're going to have to open it up a little bit more against Florida State. They're going to have to get a little more out of the passing game. Carson Beck, he's played pretty well, okay? Certainly nothing to be alarmed about. But he had a little bit of an off night against Florida. I don't know whether the wet ball or anything might have had something to do with it. It probably did. Again, no excuses. I mean, but your thoughts just on the way Carson Beck played against Florida?
Well, again, we didn't ask him to try to win the ball game. His job was to hand the ball off and then play action when they needed to, complete some passes. And what was he? 17 for. What was he, Gary? I don't know what he was. Let's see here. 17 for 30.
Yeah.
17 for 30. He wasn't asked to try to win the ball game. I mean, when your defense is playing that well, you have to just manage it.
160 yards.
160 yards.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't mad with him. You know, again, the one interception, guy made a great play. What I was more concerned about in that weather were tipped footballs. That's what I was scared of. Every time he threw it across the middle, I was worried the ball was going to be tipped into Florida State's hand. I mean, again, I'm thinking Florida State, man. I'm thinking tipped into Florida's hands. You know what I mean? And so it didn't happen, and he was able to hand the ball off. Our O-line and D-line won that game for us. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I just want to throw this out there. We've had a little bit of breaking news tonight, so we might as well throw it out to you guys. Miami did receive a commitment tonight from a defensive tackle. He's from Naples, St. John Newman. His name is Frederick Saintius, a kid that's kind of come from totally off the radar. He was an FAU commit. Power 4 schools started recruiting him. Michigan State was doing well. Miami jumped in and did well. And now he's decided he's going to be a Miami Hurricane. So congrats to Mario and the crew for picking up another commitment tonight. You guys can read all about it at CaneSport.com. Okay, so you mentioned, the O-line. LT, I am blown away by it. We've got the Miami version of the tush push. Okay. and it's definitely the tush push. Like, you see guys circling around, offensive linemen circling around to the back of the play so they can push the pile forward. And they are clearly trying to create a pile for the running back to get lost in and just churn out extra yards. To me, that is great scheming. You've got the personnel to do it. It is working like crazy. The Philadelphia Eagles have proven you can't stop it if it's executed properly. Great job in my eyes, Lamar.
Well, I can say this from being down there and watching those guys up close. I mean, they especially in the fourth quarter. In the first quarter and the fourth quarter, they inserted. I mean, they put their will on Florida. I mean, they basically just mushed them in the ground. I mean, those guys were firing off the ball, putting hands on guys, driving them. And in that fourth quarter, the same thing. I mean, they are kudos to Maribel, Coach Maribel, for what he's done with that O-line. Those guys recruited big guys. That's one of the things, I see Santino saying trench bullies. That's what they are, trench bullies. I mean, it is amazing to watch. And to see it up close, to watch our O-line dominate, that's pretty impressive. And again, we got some big games coming up. I want to see it continue, man, because it sets up to a great season. This could be a great season if it continues.
They even put in the wing T offense.
Yeah, you call it wing T. I just call it the T. There's no wings out there. There's 3 guys in the backfield, fullback in the middle, 2 running backs.
I've never heard of the T offense. That's why I'm calling it the wing T.
I know, but I can tell you this: it's served Miami well in the short yardage because they've run 3 or 4 different plays out of it, and what it's done has it causes you on their run defense. You got to figure out your fits, and there's so many options off it. We've already shown that we can run with the quarterback, which we really don't want to do. We can run with the quarterback. We can hand it off to either side. We haven't given it. I don't even know if we've given it to the fullback yet, the lead back. But we have, we go to one side, two blockers in front of the back. We've also shown where we can bootleg and pass out of it. So it served us well so far. And I think it's a little different. Teams are going to have to study for it. I'm pretty sure that, Florida State next week will be trying to stop it or trying to practice it. And, again, if you put enough stuff on film to make people practice, sometimes it takes from what you really need to be practicing.
Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to practice that. Like, I don't know how you practice that. I really don't. But here's the question. I want an honest answer.
Okay.
If Dennis Erickson had walked out to practice and said, we're going to be doing the tush push the whole game, and then we're going to be running out of the T formation, Lamar, you guys on the outside just chill. What would your reaction have been?
Well, that's probably why I didn't last too long in Kentucky, because we ran the damn Wildcat, and my receivers were complaining, and so was I. I said, basically, Eddie Grant, hell, I could have coached at Army for this crap. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. As long as your guys buy into it, and it is in the red zone, it's short yardage. It's right now it's hard to stop. But I can tell you this: the fact that they are throwing the ball around the yard, it keeps the receivers engaged. And let's talk about receivers being engaged now. I don't know if you've seen it online, but number 10, Malachi, was getting after number 0.
Yes.
All game long. And I was privy a little information before the game from Kevin Beard that said he challenged Malachi and told him that number 0 said he was going to dominate it. So he got into Malachi's head, and the guy was like, I don't know if you remember that movie Fast Times at Richmond High.
Yeah.
Where that linebacker went off. That's what Malachi was playing like, man.
He was getting after it.
He was getting after it, boy. And it becomes contagious. It really does become contagious because, if I'm the coach, I'm saying, hey, man, you got to block like him. You want to stay in the game, you got to block like him. And now you want to stay in the game, this is what you have to do. Or sometimes you're going to have to come out. And when you come out, it could be a pass play. So it becomes contagious to all receivers when you got guys doing that. And, kudos to Kevin Beard, man, for getting those guys playing well. They're playing very well, and they're playing together. And, they're making plays for Carson Beck.
Even more credit when you're doing it on a night that the passing game is not really the emphasis. I mean, for a young freshman receiver, and the other receivers are doing similar stuff. I mean, to make blocking such a focal point when they're not getting to eat, listen, you're a receiver. Like, receivers want to eat. They that's never going to change. They want the ball. They want every play to be a passing down.
Yeah, we do, but I didn't like coming out the game. So I figured I got to block.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a one-trick pony. You know what I mean? If they see you come in and then come out, they know it's either pass or run. You don't want to give a defense or defensive coordinator that key. So you do your job and you do it to the best of your ability. That way you don't come out the game. And that's what those guys are doing right now.
But, definitely credit to those guys. Now, LT, how big of an impact do you think the rain had on everything? I mean, you played in the rain many times in your career. And how does it affect the game, and how does it affect the passing game, and how does it affect the receivers?
Well, for me, and we'll ask Kez when he comes on, but, you start off with those gloves on. I always took them off during the rain because they become slippery. And, I'd rather feel with a little dryness, always wiping them to keep them kind of semi-wet, but not wet. You know what I mean? Kind of, just a little dampened feeling in a situation like that. I feel more comfortable catching the ball with my hands than I did the gloves. I thought, again, maybe it was a mental thing, but I see a lot of guys, sometimes the ball kind of skids off their hands. I can tell you this, catching it with the gloves they have today, it stops the ball. But what you see when it rains is the ball kind of skips off their hands. So it becomes slippery. So, that's all what I always thought. I didn't like the rain too much because of the raindrops falling in your eyes, but because you can't use that as an excuse if you drop the ball. A deep pass, you're running, the rain hitting you in the eyes. You can't use that as an excuse. So you got to make the plays. But, you just got to catch the ball. I always felt comfortable catching it with my hands during the rain. Just no excuses. No excuses.
All right, I got to ask you, Elijah Lofton finally appeared in the passing game. I thought that was an absolute asset for the offense to now have the tight end involved, and that was always in the offense. There were opportunities that they just didn't take earlier in the season, but Elijah Lofton looks pretty good to me with that ball in his hands.
Well, like you said, I gives him making a play gives the University of Miami more weapons to have to study for the next team. You know, I think Florida State knows who he is, and when they see him catch one pass, they know that this guy can play. I don't know how many catches he had maybe last year against them, but they know this guy can play. He's a matchup problem because you put a linebacker on him, he's going to kill him. You put a DB on him, he's going to kill him. Hell, he even lines up in the backfield sometimes. So he's a very kind of like Jason Gathers a little bit. A guy that can play different positions and you can move him around. But to see him catch that football and see his athletic ability to jump over a guy and continue running down the sideline, that was fun to watch.
All right, well, Miami's visit to Florida State is now about 10 days away, and that's obviously going to be just an epic evening up there at Doak Campbell Stadium. So we thought we'd bring on a guy tonight that look, he's not like Lamar. Lamar took the gloves off when it got wet. Kez McCorvey, he didn't care whether it was wet, dry, whatever. He was going to catch the football. See, we could talk nice about him this week because we don't play Florida State till next week. But this is the guy that caught 192 passes for Florida State from 1991 to 1994. It's the second highest total in Florida State school history. He's in the FSU Hall of Fame. His junior season in 1993 was particularly memorable because he helped lead Florida State to their first national title with 74 receptions that year, which still is the second highest in FSU history. Got all kinds of postseason honors. Like I said, he is in the Florida State Hall of Fame. And he's going to talk to us about, with Lamar here, he's going to talk to us about a lot of things. There's no telling where this conversation is going to go. But he'll give us a little insight from his point of view on whether this Florida State team this year is legit. So without further ado, let's bring him on. Kez McCorvey, welcome to the Lamar Thomas Show.
All right. When you say that though, I have an expectation of what's going to happen, and it usually happens with a whole lot of talking.
Kez, I've always thought of you as a really great receiver. I watch you. It's hard to like other receivers from other teams, but is he still there? Let's see.
He disappeared on us there for a minute.
Oh man, he'll come back. He'll come back.
Yeah, he'll come back.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell him how it was fun to watch him, man. He, a guy that wasn't that big, like myself. You watch guys and you say, I like that guy. And, great route runner, too. Great route runner.
What was his height and weight? I didn't.
He might have been about maybe my height, maybe a little bit heavier, but not much. Not much. But, yeah, guy that could run a lot of great routes. Charlie Ward. You had Charlie Ward slinging that thing, man. And that had to be, anytime you play with a Heisman Trophy winner, it's great memories. And to be, sounds like 74 catches, he was his main go-to guy, and that's something I can hold my. There you go, Kez, man.
I don't know.
You leaving already, man? I was just giving you flowers. I was talking about how, as a slim guy like myself, you were an excellent route runner, and you made a lot of great plays for Charlie Ward and those quarterbacks up there. I enjoyed watching you play. I loved watching you run routes. Your comebacks were incredible, by the way.
Wow.
I know your knees had to be great the way you was sticking them in the ground. But hey Kez, man, on the Lamar Thomas show, we got you on here. I always started off by asking the guys that come on about their decisions in college, because people don't realize what goes into the decisions in college. They just think, oh, you just woke up one day and said, I'm going to Florida State. But you yourself coming out of Pascagoula, well, you being from Gaucher, I thought, well, you're from Gaucher, huh?
Yeah.
I called it Gator when I went up there, and T-Butt wanted to slap me. But yeah, you being from Pascagoula, tell us about that whole story about why you chose Florida State University.
You know what? Honestly, I'll tell you what happened is in 10th grade, I had a quarterback. His name was Shane Matthews, right? And so Shane went to Florida. And so guess what? I was Shane's guy. And so I wanted to go wherever Shane wanted to go. I didn't know that much about college football. And so Shane went to the Gators. And then the first year, Shane didn't play. And so all of a sudden, I'm done with the Gators. They ain't playing my boy. I'm done with them. But then the next year, we went to camp with at Florida State. Terrell Buckley, my guy, the guy that I competed with all my life. You know, you ever have this guy that you grew up with, and he was like your arch nemesis. But my arch nemesis made me better.
Yeah.
And so he went to Florida State, and then all of a sudden, you know, and I'm competing against him every day. All of a sudden, I see that the dream is close. And then actually, you know this guy too as well. He played with him. A guy named Dietrich Clausell from Gulfport. So Dietrich signed with Miami, and I'm like, hold on a second, time out. I better get Dietrich. I'm better than Dietrich. You play receiver. I feel like I'm better than Dietrich. Man, hold on a second. This thing, I can play. I can play. And so what happened is this right here. I went to football camp. And when I got there, I was determined to, and with the focus of getting an opportunity. And so I prepared my whole summer for that opportunity. You know, you got rid of all the girlfriends. You got rid of, I only had one, but I got rid of the girlfriend. My homeboys was going to hanging out and doing stuff that your homeboys do, and I wasn't doing that. And I prepared myself all summer for that opportunity. Got to camp, and they had the #1 receiver in the nation, a kid named Andre Hastings was #1 receiver in the nation that year. And I was just, you know, adamant that I'm going to show him that I'm the guy. Get to camp, he's there, and I go and I tear that thing up. They had cats from all over the place that was supposed to be pretty good, and I ripped them cats a new one. And by the end of that camp, John Easton kind of pulled me to the side at the end and said, McCorvey, you got a scholarship if you want it. And I was just like, man, is that how it's done? Is that the process? I'm looking for more, right? I'm looking for more. But he said, you got a scholarship at the end. And really, I went home. And I went home and then talking to anybody else, nobody else offered me a scholarship really. You know, and so the whole summer I'm sitting there with a scholarship offer from Florida State. It's not in paper. It's just a verbal communication of a scholarship, and that's all I needed, right? Go to the season. You know, my quarterback we was battling to see who was gonna be the quarterback. I didn't want to be quarterback. He didn't want to be quarterback, but he lost. And so he had to be quarterback, and so I had, you know, and what that means is you actually have a bad season because your quarterback is a receiver.
Yeah.
So, you know, until we get to the end of the season, and all I got was one offer. You know, all the guys one offer. And I didn't think about it. I didn't care. I just knew, okay, I'm going to Florida State. I didn't know they could pull them or nothing like that. And then by the end of the season, you know, a couple other schools jump in there. Alabama called me like the last day. You know, Texas called me the last day. LSU calls you the last day. And I know the only reason they called me is because Florida State had sent me an offer. And that was it. And so when I got there, I was, you know, I was confident, but I was kind of like all these other cats over here got like that they, you know, #4 and #3. I had Clifton Abraham was the #1 ranked DB in the nation. I had, you know, Corey Sawyer, who was the #2, and then I had Big Mouth Corey Fuller, who was the #4 DB in the nation, talking trash to me. Boucher, you better believe it. And then I get there, man, and I'm trying to hide because I don't want them to still take my scholarship away. I don't want Coach Bowden to figure out that, you know, that I'm a fake. Really, my dog is scratching over there.
That's all right.
But I don't want them to figure out that I'm a fake, right? And so I'm trying to hide out. And then I'm in the atrium over there at the stadium, and Corey Fuller calls me out. He says, "Hey, you that receiver that tried out for the team?" And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, you that receiver that tried out for the team. He tried to shine me, man. He tried, you know, you that receiver tried out for the team, and I'm like, you know what? At that moment, but it really helped me though, because at that moment I told myself, you know what? I don't know what I'm gonna do here, but I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna tear you up. And we got to that practice field, and I whipped them jokers up. Him, Corey Sawyer, Corey Fuller, you know. But then you know you realize that, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
Just for me.
Yeah.
Just for me.
Well, you know, you talk about being for you, man. Coach Bowden, man. You know, you know, obviously I've said this a number of times. you Florida State guys, man, you guys had a great leader, a great man who prayed for you every day. We didn't have that at Miami. That's why I got a lot of friends that went to Florida State. I would let you keep my kids. I don't know about these Miami guys. They little heathens. We won a lot of games, but I don't trust too many of them. But you guys, because of Coach Bowden, man, tell me a little bit about the Coach Bowden effect.
You know what? I mean, it's true, Lamar. I can't even sit here and try to play with it, man. It's really is true. You know, I'm appreciative of the atmosphere he set at Florida State, and with all the coaches. It wasn't just him by himself. He said that he permeated that thing throughout the whole program. To where, I mean, I'm thankful for Coach Van Hallinger, who was the strength coach. You know, the first man that I heard, you know, say "I love you" as a man, right, was the strength coach at Florida State, who spoke life into us, right? That held his standards high. You know, to Coach Bowden too as well, and Mark Rick. All those guys were were standard bearers in my life of how to respond. And so when I wanted to, you know, I didn't feel like I don't feel like I lived up to what they were espousing at the time, because I was running wild, but I had a standard right next to me, right, that was there. And when I looked at it, I knew, okay, I'm not living the way these cats is living over here. They're living a different lifestyle than I am, and I knew that that's something I wanted to attain to be. I wanted to be like this Coach Bowden. And I remember the day that I came in his office. I turned pro. I was playing pro ball my third year. And I remember the day I became a Christian. I went to his office and I made sure I told him, because I wanted him to know the effect that he had on my life, to change my life.
Man, well, again, we kind of envy that as men now. You know, we won some games and we had a lot of fun, but you know, to hear that you guys had that guy and myself and you being coaches, we know how powerful our impacts are on these young men today. And I'm sure that helped you in coaching and in life, as you said, having that man of God being able to guide you. And maybe sometimes when you have those crossroads, you probably remember Coach Bowden saying, "Dad gummit," or something like that.
Absolutely. I found my son one day. We were watching TV. He broke out a good old dad gummit. I said, "Man, where you get that from? Where that come from? God, no, yeah, you know."
You got a little chills and you say, "What?"
I was like, "Man, hold on a second. Now where you get that from?" I'll tell you what. This is what happened one time. Like, I got a chance the last 5 years of Coach Bowden's life to spend time with him. Coach Bowden was involved with FCA. I was the FCA director. And so they asked me to take them long trips with Coach Bowden. And so I got a chance to really see him at the end of his life finish well. You know, I was there. He couldn't get in my truck, right? So I get my wife's car. And so he was having a hard time getting down in my wife's car. But he would say, "Kez, whenever someone asks me to speak, I want to speak, right? I want to speak." And I'm like, man, this guy here, you know, just seeing him serve and finish well. I mean, it's amazing, because, you know, when you look at you, okay, man, you got every reason to slow down, Coach Bowden. Yeah. But he didn't want none of that, man. He didn't want none of that. You know, I would have to be the one when we went somewhere to turn it off. Hey, man, no more autographs, none of that stuff, Coach. You know, he's good. They would give me the mean mug too as well, but I feel like I had to turn it off because he wasn't gonna do it. He just wasn't like that.
Well, Kez, I ain't going. Before we move on, talk about this 2-10. Oh, that was last year. This Florida State team.
I knew it.
This Florida State team. I got to tell you, I saw Coach Harrison just last weekend. He had 2 Bud Lights in his hand. Boy, he was ready to rock and roll.
Hey, he enjoyed it.
Well, listen. Okay, so here's the question I have for you. Let's dive right into it. What is the difference between the 2-10 Florida State team and this year's team so far? What you've seen?
I think it's leadership from within the team, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it always is. You know, I don't care where you at, but when you got internal leadership, right, that goes way farther than when the coach got to yell it out, right? When you got guys that are on inside out that believe in what you're espousing, all right, then you got it. And I'm telling you to tell you the truth, but when you get a guy that can do it, like the infusion of a guy that's on your team that can do it, and you know, like the quarterback, that, you know, that kid is good. That kid is good. I mean, he is third and 5 or less is almost impossible to stop him to get, right? When you got a guy that can do that, man, his words and his actions permeate through the rest of the team. All right, permeate through the rest of the team, and it overcomes any kind of naysayers or negative vibe that you have in your locker room. That kind of personality and ability can do that. And so I think
Kez, sound like you're describing Cam Ward.
Yeah, that was my thought when I watched Florida State against Alabama, that this kid was having a Cam Ward-like impact on that football team.
Dude, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. And I mean, you can't deny it, man. I mean, Travis Jordan was the same way. When Travis Jordan got to the point to where he could overcome, you can bring in some guys that may be bad seeds. I'm not saying anybody's a bad seed, but you can bring in guys that bad seed. But as long as you got a guy that's a captain up there, that's an alpha up there, that's doing all the right stuff, that guy has to fall in line. And so you can do, but if you ain't got that guy and you bring a guy that's not a good seed, guess what? He gonna burn that thing down.
That sounds like Oogie Doodoo to me. Oogie Doodoo, the 7-Eleven man.
Yeah, it's the real. It's the real.
Tell me about Coach Nobel. I mean, you know, a couple of years ago, everybody wanted to get rid of him. Then he goes on a run, and then last year happened. You know, what do you think about the coaches? Him and they got rid of some of the older coaches. Some guys that have been there a long time, brought in some new guys. Tell me about that coaching staff. What you think?
Well, I think it's all about culture too as well. And it's not, as far as Coach Norvell, I think Coach Norvell is super solid. I do. I think him trying to figure out how to get what guys he needs in place for this program. That guy, you know how it is. You know how it is. You got to have the right pieces in place, man. It's like putting a puzzle together. Yeah. You come in and does your line good enough? Do you have the right coaches in place that coach the right style of ball you want to play? Do you got the right quarterback? Do you got the right skill guys around them, right? And then putting the puzzle together, right? That's part of the deal. And I think part of that is realizing that, what, I need to now move in another place so I can get other people, so I can, so we maybe change the voices that they hear, the guys around you. And so I think that's part of the deal too as well. Having a different voice. And then also, for you as a coach, sometimes it's better that you put some of the hats down. When you're trying to do all that stuff, and I fail at that too as well. I want to call out all the plays, but sometimes guess what? I need to get my butt out the way.
Delegate.
Get my butt out the way. Let them jokers call the play, and I think that's the same thing in Florida State too as well. Get out the way. Let people that are good at what they do their job, and let me handle the exterior stuff.
He made some tough choices. He got Ron Dugan. We all know Ron Dugan. Love Ron Dugan. Great receiver coach. One of the best to ever do it. He left. What was the line?
Randy Shannon got.
Yeah,
Randy Shannon.
Odell. That all these guys are great coaches, right? All the guys are great coaches, but at some period of time, guess what? Sometimes you need a different breeze, a different wind, and that just helps it. And that's everywhere, right? Sometimes it's not even, it's just sometimes the voice gets stale, and not that their voice is stale, but the voice gets stale to the guys that they're hearing from, and right, you want to infuse a different life, a different voice into the, shoot, I got kids now, I yell at them all day long, they tune me out.
And this is at North Florida Christian, the home of Casey Weldon. The home of Casey Weldon.
Yeah, exactly. They tune me out, man. And so I gotta get somebody else coming and talk to them sometimes. I feel it too. So I think that's the deal too at Florida State too as well. Some of those guys, they're still around. Those are Seminoles, boy. You don't push no Seminole or white. They're gonna always play.
Well, Randy is not a Seminole.
Well, I know Randy not. But guess what? We're gonna adopt him for a little bit. We're gonna adopt him for a little bit. He got a secondary degree in Seminole.
All right. Hey, you guys just you got a new renovations to the stadium, man. What did they do different? Because it was already rocking. And
it was already rocking
at night.
Yeah, dude, I was afraid that the reduction of people in the stadium wouldn't make it not as intimidating as it has been. But we was out there for that Alabama game. That thing was off the chain.
Was that at night?
It was so loud in that thing, man. That's the loudest I heard. I don't know what they did to the acoustics in that thing or what they did, but that thing was loud, man. Them jokes from Alabama couldn't hear nothing. They couldn't hear nothing.
Kez,
so
was that game at night or in the daytime?
It was at night. It was at night.
That's a tough place to play at night, man.
Dude, it was loud, man. I mean, they were having a hard time hitting the snap count. I mean, it was crazy. But the way they got it built too as well, this bottom part below where I was sitting at, I was in stands, right? So I was sitting there. It was empty. It was like a foyer or something like that. It was open space, and so you think you're missing those number of seats right there. It wouldn't be as loud, but for some reason, it was loud. It was louder.
Hey, Kez, Jason C3 Poe wants to know what it was like playing for Mark Richt at Florida State.
It was actually great. I was there with Mark Richt when we made the change to the no huddle shotgun offense. So we went from the regular Coach Bobby Bowden's stuff, right? And really, we changed it really because of Miami. Miami started playing a lot more cover 4 and some different coverage, some NFL style coverages, right? That we wasn't seeing at the time, and we was having a hard time figuring. I'm just giving you credit, right? We wasn't used to seeing that, and so we went to Buffalo. Buffalo played Miami, and we went to Buffalo and got some of the stuff from Buffalo from Europe, from an old Miami quarterback himself, Buffalo, to help us to kind of push ourselves into the future. And so that's kind of what spurred us to change some of the things we did. And Mark was the innovator of that stuff, right? He brought a lot of different things from his relationships to guys that were playing in the NFL and getting some of that information to be able to help us to transition to the new stage of the new age of where football was going.
And he let Charlie call his own plays. Am I correct? Charlie called it the 2-minute type drill.
Well, yeah. Charlie was great. Charlie was great at reading coverages. Mm-hmm. People tell me this, right? People say, man, he get it running. No, Charlie was great at reading them coverages, but it's hard to get him. If you play cover 4 or cover 3 or cover 2, or if you blitz, you're going to have a hard time getting Charlie, because he was just really good. I mean, his awareness was, I think super high level.
I got a question to ask you, Kez. The signal, I'm trying to do it in front of this camera. The signal, was that a dig? Where he go like this?
Yeah, that was dig.
Man, I don't know why we couldn't stop that. He out there, he gave the dig.
He gave the dig. Yeah, I remember playing 344 Cadillac X dig, right? I remember the play.
Charlie was giving the signals.
See, but the thing about when you going fast, ain't supposed to look at anybody looking at them signals. They try to get lined up. Yeah, they just trying to get lined up. Man, you know what, Lamar? I enjoyed those games we played. Man, those are the most intense games I think I've ever been a part of. I mean, pro ball or anything, the most intense game. I remember that first 91 game. You come running your skinny butt right through the stretch line over there. I'm like, get that joker here, running through the stretch line over here. Sorry, rascal. That was just you, but that made it exciting. Yeah, that made it to where it was the games of the century, right, man? Yeah. Those games are they're locked in the annals of college football forever.
And that's why when people ask me, the UF guys and the Florida State guys, I always say it's respect between Florida State and us. It's respect. It was the toughest game we played. We knew that whoever won the game had a pretty much good shot on being national champion. Yeah. But no, we didn't get to play Florida, so we definitely didn't respect them. I know y'all played them a couple of times, but we have no love lost for those guys.
We tore them up too. We tore them up. Like, we expected to win. The rivalry was never against Florida. The rivalry was against Miami. And so I'm gonna go ahead and say that. And I'm excited this year too that what that thing is starting to brew into that same type of similarity to the past, right? Mm-hmm. I'm excited about that. I feel like Florida State has a really good team, right? Mm-hmm. I do. I feel like Florida State has a really good team. Now, how good is it? The same thing Miami's going to ask you as well. I mean, how good is the team?
Well, I can tell you this, Kez. Some of your boys, I got some bets on the line right now. They say bar none. He already got $100 on it. Kevin Knox, who is probably his kids' money. We got a bet on it. And if you want some, we can do that too. We'll talk off the air. Listen, who else besides the quarterback, little George Jefferson? Who else should we be? Who else on Florida State team should we?
Well, I think they get a couple of guys that make that offense go. I mean, outside of the line, I think quarterback adds two people, right? Because he's a plus one.
Mm-hmm.
And in college football, if you can play plus one and stay healthy, you got an initial advantage. But then I think Deuce, number 0, Deuce Robinson, I think he is a solid. He's an NFL guy. I think he's an NFL guy. He has the skill sets. He's he brings the level of maturity to the receiving core that helps them to ascend into that top level. He's the leader of that group over there, really. So I think Deuce has been a great get for Florida State as far as helping the culture to grow. You know, you're gonna have an alpha dog that's gonna make everybody practice hard. That's gonna have the high technique level and the high insight. He's a coach's son, and so he knows how to work. He has a high IQ as far as football is concerned, and I think he makes that whole room good. And I think what he does is he gives the rest of the guys confidence. And so I think that's, to me, in the receiver room, that's the top dog right there. That's the guy that stirs it up. Even if he don't make plays, he's helped to raise the level of expectation of that room that's made it play at a higher level. And then I think, you got a litany, a group of backs, right, that are different style of back. And I think that's what you're going to see, Florida. You're going to see 200, 300 yards rushing, but you're not going to see a 100-yard rusher.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to see a 100-yard rusher, but you're going to see 200-yard rushing or 300-yard rushing, but you're not going to see a 100-yard rusher. And that's what makes it difficult in that situation, because you got guys that are competing for them touches, and when they get it, guess what? They ain't wasting it. And so I think it's more than one guy in the backfield and in the receiving core that's going to touch the ball in the running combination. You got receivers, but then you got plenty of guys that touch the ball that are not running backs. You got reversers, you got jet sweepers, you got all that kind of stuff going on over in Florida State, right? That is it's irritating to the conventional NFL style defensive coordinator, because
this is Gus Malzahn, right? The offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard. That thing's hard, man, because you got to be disciplined, and then you can't key one person, and so it's difficult to say. That's been the challenge for most folks with Gus, and I think he has the right quarterback to do the things that he likes to do, to do the things, and then the quarterback can throw it too. I mean, I think that time he spent Boston College with a pro level coordinator as a head coach helped to develop him to where he can do some things that are should be outside of his skill set.
You haven't talked much about their O-line and D-line yet. I don't know if you watch Miami. The trenches,
I know.
we very dominant.
I know you are. You are very dominant. I know you are very dominant. That's what I think.
You ain't got no Rob Stevensons out there? You ain't got no Rob Stevensons?
You a shame. You a bad man. Golly.
I can call Kevin Patrick right now.
Hey, come on now. Come on. Hey, you know what? I really do think, those guys are playing with confidence. And that's part of the deal, right? Yeah. Playing with confidence, right? And then can you negate those? Because you got y'all D-line is NFL level D-line. I mean, their pass rushers are NFL level pass rushers. I seen them come off the edge, man. That thing, them cats can bend, them cats can run. Them cats got great get off too as well. That's gonna be hard for us if we're in 3rd and 9 and 8 and 10. That's gonna be hard for us. So the key for us is to stay out of that.
Yes.
The key for us to stay out of that. That's not what we want to be. We don't want to be in 3rd and long. We want to be in 2nd and short and 3rd and 2. And so if we can be that'll give us a great advantage in the game. Now if we not, them boys can eat.
It's gonna be up to your quarterback legs now.
Yeah, it's good. Them boys can eat, and so that's it. I think that's the first and second down is going to be the key to this game. First and second down is going to be the key to this game. Now, defensive line, I think you're right. You guys are physical up front too, but we got a whole lot of bodies. All right, that we can throw at the deal too. And then if we can, I think the key for you guys is, can you throw the ball when you have those one-on-one situations? Is your receiver core capable of making the big plays that punish us when we come and we play man-to-man, or we have to put pressure on you guys, or we have to come on first and second downs to put you guys in a bad situation? Are you willing to take those shots down the field to make us think twice about doing that?
Just so our fans know, their secondary coach, Pat Surtain, corners coach, right?
Yeah.
Got Miami ties right there.
Yeah. Pat's great, super smart, great technician too as well, great strategist too as well. When I go to Pat the game and I ask him about some of the coverage packages and what they were doing, and because I want to see what they what he figured out. Because Pat's gonna watch the film, Pat's gonna know some of a lot of the tendencies. He's gonna teach those guys how to prepare like a pro. And so it's a different story when you look at you ain't not just playing. You know all the different variables that the other guys are doing. That's pro level stuff, and I think they're working their way to that. And so I think that's the issue that we're gonna have to be. Those are two battles right there.
Right.
Us first and second down, and you guys same thing, first second down. And can you make us back up enough times to make us respect the pass game on first second down, so you can take advantage of your physical line and your running backs.
Kez, what do you think of the Gus Malzahn offense that they've, listen, let's be honest, it was a coup for them to get him up there at Florida State, a guy that's been a head coach for a while. And obviously they were able to get Castellanos, and now they're putting it all together on offense. I mean, they're scoring. I mean, they're playing nobody, but they're scoring like crazy. They did beat Alabama. Be interested to see how they do against Virginia on Friday night on the road. But, what do you think of that Gus Malzahn offense?
Well, I know it's different, right? If you're a receiver, guess what? If you're a receiver, I'm used to the pro level offense, right? I kind of cut my teeth in the Florida State offense, no huddle shotgun, but then also in the pros, I cut my teeth in the West Coast, right? So that's kind of been my comfort zone as far as football, and this is not that. This is not that. It's more of what I think Coach Norvell wants to do, right? He wants to run, play action, pass. And so, I mean, and that's good football too as well. It's different, right? It's different. It's zone read. It's some reverses, some trickery, right? Some misdirection. It's some counter with the quarterback. But then, guess what? You're still doing the same thing. You're trying to get the safeties down and then get a chance to get over top of their head. So, to me, I think it's effective. You can run the ball. Guess what you do? You put those other guys in stressors. And if you can put those guys in stressors, now you got opportunity to make big plays down the field. And so I think it's about, execution. A good friend of mine, he passed away. His name is Corky Rogers. Corky was the winners coach.
Bowles.
At Bowles High School. Yep. And Corky used to say to me, he said, "Kids, all offenses are meant to do the same thing. It's just who has the adjustments. If you can get the adjustments right, then they all work the same. And so I think Gus has a handle on the adjustments for his offense. And the main adjustment is to run the ball. Run the ball. But it's different. I think like I said, I don't think it's built for third and long though. We're not built for third and long.
Well, Kez, I tell you what, man, I'm gonna send this whole tape down to Mario. You gave us some keys on how to win this game. And we're gonna practice that this week while y'all gotta go to UVA. And you gotta win a big one up there now.
Yeah.
You got to win a big one up there. I know you got the off week before y'all play Jefferson County.
Oh,
I know you're gonna be
doing your research, huh?
Yeah, you got an off week, but I know you're gonna be watching that UVA game.
I am gonna watch.
They're not a bad team now. They threw
I heard.
3-1.
I mean, they'll probably have some things that Miami will watch because they'll expose you. Good teams expose you and find holes where they can take advantage. And now the question is, can Miami take advantage of the things that UVA gonna take advantage of? I don't know how good UVA is. They might be a trap waiting to happen.
Might be.
I hope not though.
Y'all feeling good right now. I mean, alumni.
Rat poison.
Definitely feeling good. Derek Brooks is even talking noise. Brooks don't even talk noise. He even talking about betting. And that's not Brooks. So he feeling real good right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The college football is different, man. From year to year, this thing changes, man.
Yeah.
We were 2-10 last year, and now you're riding the high hole, right?
Well, I tell you what, Kez, you've always been one of my favorites, man. And good luck on this year, North Florida Christian. You should get a win after beat Jefferson County, then play FAMU High, get that win. I know you want to in that one. But thank you so much for coming on the Lamar Thomas show, man. And hopefully, are you gonna go to the game?
I'm gonna be there.
All right.
You gonna be there?
If I come up there, I know they closed the moon down, so maybe we can go to Applebee's. All right. Hey man, much love for you, boy.
Much love, Lamar, man.
You,
love you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks for coming by, Kez.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
All right.
I bet you. I mean, we didn't get a chance to ask him this. I bet you that you're talking about 30-something years now since he played at Florida State. There had to be some game he watched where he was rooting for Miami. I mean, had to be.
I'm trying to think. One of the things I did enjoy was watching the Bobby Bowden show on Sundays. That was the most entertaining show that I've ever seen because he didn't know none of their damn names.
Yep.
But he knew what the mama cooked, and he knew the mama and the daddy. And then Gene Deckerhoff would always have to tell him, "Oh, that's Derrick Brooks." Oh,
Yeah.
well, I tell you what, his mama Arlene, boy, she cooked the hell of an apple pie.
Right. Yeah, it was great.
But it was just awesome to watch. I don't know if it was too many games I cheered for them, except I know I cheered for them to beat Florida at all times.
Yeah. All right, LT. Let's take a minute here. Let's first talk about Caneswear. Without question, the destination for the Hurricane fan to go load up on gear. First, we'll give you a quick look, then we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
LT, man, like you've been in the store a million times. I mean, they have the largest selection of Miami Hurricanes gear in town. I mean, it's amazing how they pack it all. They got a bigger storefront there so they could fit more stuff. I mean, there is not an inch of that store in Caneswear that isn't covered with some type of merchandise. And I mean, they sell Panthers into Miami, Dolphins, all that. So I don't think anybody's buying any Dolphin stuff this year, but they have T-shirts, jerseys, polos, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets. You think I'm joking? I can't even give away a Dolphin ticket right now.
They're using tour jersey as flow mats.
Yeah, right. Maybe they'll win a couple and get the fans back a little bit.
I hope.
Yeah, I mean they got an opportunity. But anyway, sizes for men, women, kids,
pets,
babies, pets. They will dress up any member of your family, seriously. And if you need like tailgating equipment, they've got chairs and tables in there at Caneswear to hook you up. And like I said, they're if you're going to the game, and obviously we got an off week, road game, off week, so we're not going to be going to Hard Rock. They wore us out going to Hard Rock here in the first month of the season, so now we're going to have a few weeks where we don't go to Hard Rock. But the Louisville game, when we go to Hard Rock, you guys, if you want to get some tailgate stuff and experience tailgating at Hard Rock, which is a pretty special experience, quite honestly, you can get your stuff at Caneswear. You get your food next door at La Spada, which always feeds Lamar, so we'll give him a little shout out. Best subs in town. So there's no better time than now to get yourself stocked up for the season. Caneswear is more than the store. It is an absolute experience in that new expanded location they got there at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Online, caneswear.com. So
and that's open 24 hours, 24/7. You can always order online.
Yeah. So we can't speak highly enough about Caneswear. Hope you guys will get the opportunity to check them out sometime soon. I don't think you will be sorry. And before you know it, it'll be holiday shopping season too. So they'll make sure they got everything stocked up for that. I promise you that. All right, LT. Lulls in the third quarter. Okay, right. So against Notre Dame, against Florida, you go in. You got early leads in those games. Those teams found ways to creep back into it and make it one-score games in the fourth quarter, where quite honestly, it's anybody's ball game. And Miami has done a phenomenal job of closing out games. I think the physicality along the way has had an impact without question. That's the idea. That's why you ground it and pound it for 3 quarters. So when you get to the fourth quarter, you've worn them out and you're going to be able to impose your will. And it's worked, LT, to this point of the season. Are you at all concerned about these third quarter lulls? And what creates a third quarter lull? I mean, you've been out as a player and a coach. Like, how all of a sudden do you have these third quarter lulls?
You know, you come in at halftime, you're feeling real good. You think about it, the two games, and I discount the Bethune game. I'm not like Florida State. I don't count those two games.
You don't count them.
I don't count them.
I wish we didn't play the damn things.
Me too. But you go in, you're doing some really good things the first half. Because I would say this: the Florida game, we dominated the first half. I was like, this is going to be a blowout.
As much as you could, but you're only up 13-0.
I know, but it was still domination because they punted the ball a lot. I mean, they were punting. I mean, their punter got a lot of work. So you come out, I don't know what halftime. I mean, what are you feeling? Real good? I don't know. But the halftime speech, they're not listening. I don't know what's going on. But then they wake up, and you got to also that run that was called back. I think that was in the third quarter. So that could have been, that could have took care of the lull. But the bottom line is the fourth quarter they are playing their ass off. When they put that 4 up, they mean it, because those two games that they had to bear down in that fourth quarter, they did, and it's not a joke. And that's one of the good things about having a guy that played at the University of Miami, played for the program, knows what he's teaching them what the fourth quarter means. About he's passing things down green tree. It means something. It means something to him. So the team is playing so much better this year. Not saying that last year was a good team, but they weren't a great team. Right now, this team is on the way to being great. Obviously, you got to beat a team like Florida State. And if you want that moniker on you, as far as you got to take care of business, you got to take care of business. And Florida State is, they're practicing this week, off week. They're doing what they can. Florida State is a big game. They're trying to get ready.
All right, let's talk about this defense a little bit. We touched on it, but 32 yards at halftime for Florida, and 0 of 13 on third downs for the game. You were a guy that always showed up on third down. How does an offense, a major college offense, go 0 for 13 on third downs?
That's that means that defense is kicking your ass. 0 for 13. That's a lot of long walks back to the sideline. Okay, that's some boos, spanner of boos. Your punter is even looking sideways at you. You know what I mean? They played well. Our defense played well, except for the third quarter. I think they lost again. Like I said earlier in the show, I think they lost the edge a little bit on that touchdown run by 13. He actually got lucky. Mesidor came down. I think number 1 was supposed to fill outside. And because they thought they had him bottled in, he hit his lineman and bounced off his lineman, and it spun him outside. And so number 1 had took the wrong angle because he was going to game tackle. It would have been 4 guys on that tackle. But because he hit his offensive line and it kicked him out to the right, he was able to see that there was nobody out there. The quarterback run that Lagway had, where it was just a numbers thing, where they had the better numbers on that one side, and they went to that side with Lagway. But, hey, man, again, that defense in the fourth quarter of that Notre Dame game and this game played well enough to win, and that's important.
It's funny because I was talking to somebody earlier today about Bain and Mesidor, and just like, obviously, you're just pouring out praise on those two guys and the way they've played. But I was kind of shocked because sacks, Mesidor's got 2.5, Bain's got 2, which are kind of, work for the apparent way they are getting after the quarterback. It's kind of amazing to me that those are the sack totals. I got to think that starts correcting itself as the year goes forward.
Well, I mean, you look at Lagway, what he was doing, man. He was just flinging it at the last second. I mean, he was just trying to get rid of. He looked like a deer in headlights. I mean, they were rushing at both angles, up the middle. They had all kind of stuff going on. He was just trying to get rid of that thing. So you count all the balls that I wish I could go back and count all the balls that he just slung on the ground and count those as sacks. It probably would have been like 10. You know what I mean? because he was getting ready to ball at the last second. Wasn't trying to throw it to anybody, just trying to get it away. I mean, some of those throws, I mean, they could have been intentional grounding. So, and Panhandle Kane 89 says it was just one series. You're right. It was that one series where they actually ran the ball. They ran it well. They actually put it together. And I don't know if it was our guys maybe feeling a little confident, but they weren't feeling the same way. And they did a good job. Now, they screwed up when they tried to throw the ball, which I'm thankful that, Billy, you're running the ball well. Why try to throw it? But we appreciate you, Billy. We appreciate it. And when you get your $20 million,
he's going to get $20 million to go on vacation.
Yeah,
it is unbelievable.
Hey, man, it is a lick, as the brothers call it. It is a lick. How
stupid do you have to be the athletic director up there to get yourself into this situation where you owe Billy Napier $20 million if you got to let him go? I mean, what's wrong with these athletic directors? Like, what does he think Billy Napier is going to do if he made it $5 million? Or, where's he going? What's he doing? Like, you're like, it's malpractice what they do to some of these universities and the way they make them throw money away. I mean, it's wild. But
hey, you know what? I wish I was Billy. I wish my name was Billy Napier or related to Billy Napier, because that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
He's pretty much going to be gone. Their schedule is too brutal. Now, here's what I don't like. Okay, I've been on Florida fans. All last year it was wait till next year. Wait till next year. They went on a little run. He got an extension. They won the bowl game. We lost the Pop-Tart Bowl, as they say. You went to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Okay, wait till next year. Okay, next year's here and y'all still lost, man. So now it's y'all gonna lose. You know what? Stop looking at our team then. Don't stop cheering against us. Y'all. The point is, I got bragging rights for about 10 years. And I'm gonna keep bragging. Because you don't give me no crap about what they say. I had a guy say, y'all gonna lose, y'all ain't gonna, but it don't matter. We still won. I say 41-17, 20, what was it, 26-7, right? Is that what it was? 26?
Yes,
was it 26?
Yeah.
I got them 41-17, 26-7. It don't matter. So if we did lose every game, we still beat Florida. Now, you can say, Florida fans, we're getting ready for basketball season. That's a whole different story. But we on the come up. We on the come up. But kudos to the University of Florida again for letting my guy, my high school, he went to my high school, Vernon Maxwell, back into the record books there at the University of Florida. He's back number one. Vernon Maxwell, Buchholz High School, Mr. Florida basketball, Gainesville, Buchholz. Kudos to the University of Florida and their basketball and their athletic director for making that happen. That's good stuff. With everything that's going on today, you look at what they gave the Heisman back to what's that kid name from USC? All that stuff.
Reggie Bush.
They're going back and they're making things right. Things that were illegal back then are now legal. So
illegal, right?
So they're kudos to them. I give Florida that. And I told the Florida fans that I would be a Gator lover. After that, I lied. I'm just happy they got my guy back in. So, but kudos to them.
Miami basketball is going to play Florida in December.
I'm going to go to that game. Where is it, home or where?
I think it's in Jacksonville, I think.
Oh, no, that's too far.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Be on TV, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
All right, LT, we haven't talked about Corey Heatherman at all tonight. I wanted to touch on him.
Okay.
The impact that he has made on this program in the short period of time that he's been here is pretty amazing. I mean, he's come in with this mindset: excitement, swarm, violence. They've bought into it. They are running to the football. Unlike, I mean, I'm sure we've seen it before, but it's as good as it gets, man. I mean, it's like they're on the screen. They're counting the number of Miami defenders around the football. They got 7-8 guys around the ball almost every play.
Impressive. You know, I've seen Mr. Hellerman on the sideline. I have not spoke to him because
you're scared.
I'm superstitious. Oh, he
Oh.
don't scare me.
Oh man, have you ever seen those? He's got those eyes.
I don't give a damn about them eyes. I'll knock his ass out if I have to. But listen, no, I'm very superstitious. It's like with Cam Ward last year. I didn't talk to Cam Ward the whole year until they lost. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a pitcher pitching a no-hitter. You don't mess with him. Defense is balling. I mean, he got them guys, like you said, they're playing with excitement. They're swarming to the football, man. They're tackling guys. You know, we didn't have that for some reason, you know, not throwing the old defensive coordinator on the bus, but maybe throwing those kids under the bus. These kids are not playing. Those kids last year were not playing with excitement like they're playing with this year. And whatever he's done with the staff on the defensive side, you know, bringing Damian Lewis in there, you know, all that Damian Lewis in there, it's incredible to watch, man. It looks good. It gives our offense a chance to run the ball, methodically run the ball. You know, no, it's not a race. We're just gonna run the ball, and we're gonna run it to the best of our abilities with these great running backs, and then we're gonna throw the ball. We got a game manager back there. When you stack the box, his job is to deliver the passes, and he's done a good job so far. So, because of that defense, it's taken a lot of pressure off, I think, the offensive coordinator, and having to call plays downfield, trying to make the impact play, but just methodically letting the ball work itself, playing to Carson Beck's strength.
You know, put your Lamar Coach T hat on. You're an offensive coach, and you take a look at that Miami defense and the way they're playing right now. Mm-hmm. What comes to your mind?
Man, I mean, this is 2001. This is the linebacker, the Michael Barrow, them, my defensive days. I mean, guys are making plays out there. This is what made us so good on offense. We didn't have to worry about defense. They were going to get the ball back to us. They were going to punish guys. They were, you know, they all knew what they were supposed to be doing. They swarmed to the football. They kept it simple. We did the same thing. We didn't have nickel and dime. We kept the linebackers in there, Jesse Armstead, Darren Smith. They covered their inside slot receivers. You know, it was nothing elaborate. You knew it was going to be cover 2, cover 4, man to man. It was, hell, I don't even know if we played cover 3. But they just kept it very simple, and that way guys could play without thinking. They knew what they were supposed to do, and they did it to the best of their ability. These guys, man, to hear other teams, alumni talk about, man, they get to the ball. Man, that defense is physical. They're violent. That's what the coach has them doing. That is exactly what they're doing. What people are saying is what they're teaching. And it is, so far, it's beautiful to watch.
What do you think he's doing that Lance Guidry didn't?
I think the difference in players, too, now. You know, I think we spent money differently.
We got better guys.
We got better guys than Guidry had, man. Especially in the secondary. That's just my opinion.
Not even close. Yeah.
And you know, it's these guys are playing fast, man. They're playing fast, and right now everybody's showing up, and that's important. Those linebackers are playing well. You know, I love number 31, man. I just think the world of him. You know what he brings to the table. He plays hard. You know, I'm happy when he got kicked out of the game. It wasn't in the second half; it was in the first half. So,
yeah.
I mean. I just love everything about him. And number 1, what's number 1's name?
Mohamed Touré.
He's playing well. He's all over the place. I mean, they're all playing really good right now. The D-line with Moten and those guys, man, they're playing well. That deep, the safety, the corners look good.
Jacoby Thomas at safety is playing great.
Yes. I mean, it's just a whole different thing. Obviously last year, to watch our defense, it was cringeworthy, right? Because I mean, unfortunately, man, I love Lance Guidry. Not knock on him. I'm gonna blame it on the players, but now I'm gonna just sit and watch him. Man, you're like, dang, I'm excited to watch our defense.
Yeah, Lance Guidry's watching. He's saying, "Where the hell were these players when I was coaching?"
Man, I mean, you know, Lance told me. I mean, I don't know if he was, you know, making an excuse, but he told me, he said, I think we spent too much money up front and not enough in the back. And it showed.
Yeah.
It showed. And so now you built your roster differently and you kind of spread it around a little bit and you spent the money in the back and you spent some in the front. You know, you spend it differently. And it's truly showing that it is you know, I had one Florida fan say, "Oh, you're excited about your semi-pro team that you bought every player?" Say, "Hey man,
What?
I mean, come on, man.
What do I think everybody's doing?
What the hell, man?
They just did a better job picking the players this go round.
No, man, stop being a little bitch." That's what I said, man. I mean, it's like, you know, you got to give us some credit. We beat you behind twice in the last 2 years. Give us some credit. Instead, you know, they want to make every excuse, and it's okay. You got a long 10 years, buddy. Like basketball, gymnastics, baseball, softball, track, they're doing well at Florida. Go Gators.
Listen, they had money to spend the first few years of NIL. Yeah. They just did a better job of spending it this go round. You know, I mean, just a really phenomenal job, and that's why the results show. All right, LT, let's play a little word association before we let everybody go to sleep here tonight. Let me start out by throwing out off week.
Off week, an opportunity to continue to work on technique and you know, not really kill yourself, but you got to stay on the same path, not have it to be a lull. You know, guys have to stay excited about it. Competition is always keen in the off week. I know back in the day also too, it was for all the guys that are watching that played at Miami, it was a toilet bowl week. It's when the guys that played scout team got a chance to perform in front of everybody, and it was a big deal. Guys look forward to it. Guys, you know, some great players that come out of scout team when they won the trophy was a bunch of they call it toilet bowl, so they won a bunch of toilet paper wrapped in a little trophy. So I got to take it to his house and probably use it at some point. But it's a fun time. It was a fun time. So this is a great opportunity for guys to continue to get better, work on the technique, but to stay focused. And I know Mario knows from what we were able to do at Miami, no lulls in the off week.
Yeah, I got myself in trouble last year during an open week. I had made a comment in a column about how that the Canes were on vacation that week during an open week. Man, did I get my butthole chewed out
You got a side eye?
Oh my God.
Who called you, Dennis?
Oh, the whole lineup of them, man. We don't go on vacation here at Miami. It was basically, you know, what I was told. Don't you dare ever again use the word vacation in reference to what we have going on in this football program. And
I think you got mixed up with the Dolphins, though.
Man, yeah, no, I mean, I was just like, I mean, there was a week off, you know, I was making plans to go to happy hour and, you know, spend the weekend watching football, which we don't always get to do. And, you know, I was feeling, you know, laying out at the pool, you know, the whole thing, everything comes with it. So that's where my head was at.
Right.
You know, I wasn't like, I didn't mean any harm by it, but like it was made clear, don't you ever use that word again.
Don't use that around Mario.
Yeah. And man, yeah, but they're working. They got a commitment tonight. They're grinding recruiting. They're having practice out there. They do have things they got to work on, you know, and you know, I keep using the term rat poison because I think it's really appropriate. Nick Saban threw it out. It's his phrase, and Mario's heard it a million times because he coached with Nick Saban in Alabama. And you really do got to be careful about rat poison. You got to be careful about everywhere you go on social media. They are talking about how great the Miami Hurricanes are everywhere. Best team I've seen, most complete team I've seen. I mean, you can't escape it. Like, and there's no way these kids aren't hearing it. And you know,
that's up to those leaders, those leaders on the team. Beck and those guys who are considered leaders to you know, to stay on guys and say, hey, you know, we only won 4 games. So, you know, whatever, how many games we won? 3, 4? I don't even know.
4
4 games. We've only won 4 games. So we're in the national championship.
Yeah.
The only way we get to the national championship, we win this week too. We win. We don't have a game, but we do.
Shit,
have
you gotta win 12 more if you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
there's
but there is a game. There is a game this week, and it's within. So you got to win that game too. I've seen many teams lose that week, that off week, and it goes downhill from that point on. So
yeah, no doubt. All right, let me throw Carson Beck at you.
The ultimate game manager. Hey man, we gave you a lot of money to manage this thing. Continue to manage it. Obviously, you threw a pick last week, so
3 of them now.
I told you I was going to be $4 million if he beat Florida, but I got to move it down. Even though Kamani made a good play, so he's right at 3 right now. He about 3 right now. He's earned about $3 million. This Florida State game, you win this one. Now I'm gonna have to go $4 million. I'm gonna have to go because this is a big game, but obviously this week is a big game also. Making sure those receivers, you and those guys on the right pace, and maybe practice a little scramble drill here and there, because that's last year we saw what the scramble drill can do. That play that he threw the interception, if he would have thrown it more down the field, he would have had an easy touchdown but he threw it on the line. He didn't see the defender. So
interceptions were a problem for him last year.
I know.
He now has 3 in 2 weeks. Are you concerned at all? Or you just say, whatever, we won. Let's move on to next week. Try to do better.
I'm not really concerned right now. I'm not really concerned. I think he understands, and hopefully he's working on some things that, again, it's when he's pressured, and he has to be able to make those throws. That's what those guys said in Georgia. When he's under pressure, but he also had a lot of drops last year when he was playing. So, I think this is his redemption tour. I think that's what they're calling it, his redemption tour. So I think he's out to prove everybody wrong and to work on his own stock, but also win games.
Some people would argue that the reason for those third quarter lulls is going a little bit more conservative with the lead. I agreed with that against Notre Dame. I didn't think they got conservative against Florida. I just felt like they stopped executing on third down. You
got to give Florida some credit too, and the weather. Yeah. You don't want to do anything stupid. Some of the play calling, you got to understand footing and stuff like. You don't want a stupid interception where a guy slips down or a ball is tipped over the middle. You kind of keep it basic, especially when your defense is playing well.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't know that they were a significantly better football team than Florida. Yeah. You're thinking, I don't want to do anything that is going to change that narrative. Sometimes, though, you do get caught, and by trying not to change that narrative, you allow the other team back into the game. That, to me, is something they got to really figure out during this open week period, because they have been – I felt they were 3 touchdowns better than Notre Dame. I felt like they were 4 touchdowns better than Florida. And they got to figure out why those teams are having a chance to win in the fourth quarter. That's without question. To me, that's number 1 on the open week list.
I'm looking at Cesar Iglesias say about our stud right tackle has given up a few pressures. Any thoughts? That sack that was given up, I think Mark Fletcher chipped the guy, if I'm not mistaken, and kind of knocked him off track. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken. I think
you're right.
Yeah, I think he chipped him, and obviously you're going to see the right tackle, and that was his guy, but I think he got chipped, and so he lost his leverage, and that's how they were able to get the sack. So sometimes that happens. They got to be working on the same page. The chipper, which is the back, he's sent out to catch the defensive end. The guy usually sits inside and to make sure that he runs upfield to the chipper and they chip him. But when the Mark Fletcher, he's a big dude. And so when he hit him, he knocked him off. And he was able to retrace his tracks and go in for the sack. So,
all right, let me move on here. Downtown Marty Brown.
Whew. Man, we thank you. Thank you for coming here. What Shamar? Is it Shamar? It's Marty. He said Marty is the Marty.
But it
Marty
is
Brown.
Shamar. You
Okay,
can call him
well,
either.
whatever he want to be called. Thank you for coming here from North Dakota State, the Bisons. I think that's what they are. Thank you for coming here to big time football, and you are showing that you deserve to be here. And again, he's played in big games on that level.
Yeah.
They always play big games on that level, and they were the team to beat on that level. And so I think coming here, showing that he can play, giving Mark Fletcher a blow every now and then. Also, when Jordan Lyle comes back, I mean, this is gonna be a Kez McCorvey talked about Florida State's backfield. You ain't seen nothing when we get that three-headed monster back there. So
we know how good Jordan Lyle is,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are concerned that he, what are you gonna do? You'll put Marty Brown on the bench, and and listen, it's a nice problem to have. Here's what I'll say. This is a long season. Okay.
Yes,
You're playing 12 regular season games. You're playing 13 games if you get to the ACC title game, which you probably will if you beat Florida State next week.
Yeah.
And then you got the playoffs, hopefully. You could be playing as much as 15, 16. If you go all the way, you're playing 16 games.
That's a long season.
You need the chances of all three of these running backs. I mean, Lyle already got hurt.
Yeah.
So the chances of all three of these running backs being healthy the entire season is not real high. You're going to be glad in the not too distant future, in my opinion, that you got Jordan Lyle on this football team.
Yeah.
He is a damn good player. They will find a way to get him involved.
Hey Gary, speaking of the ACC championship, Clemson lost to Syracuse.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Well, they were paper tiger. Like somebody just decided they were going to be good this year, but there was no evidence.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, they had the quarterback coming back.
But you were seeing he's not as great as they thought.
Who gave us a game down here? He gave us the game. They were talking. I mean, unfortunately, I get what I get where he's coming from, but times have changed, bro. It's about getting the best players you can get all over the country.
Yeah, he's learning.
He's definitely learning. I mean, I'm pretty sure you lose to Syracuse, which I thought after Syracuse's performance against I don't even know who the hell that was, but they had was it Villanova, UConn maybe? I think it was UConn. It was UConn. Their performance against them when they basically were losing the game and somehow they ended up winning, and the coach made them run after practice after the game. I thought they were going to get blown out, but I also was believing in the Clemson, the Dabo-led Clemson that was ranked high. So kudos to Syracuse. I wanted the Brown to lose. I don't like the guy. Talks too much shit, but we'll get him. We'll get him.
Yeah, that guy rubs. Doesn't he rub you the wrong way?
Yeah, I don't like him. We'll get him. We'll get him.
Some recruits like him though. There's a kid at Northwestern, a receiver, Calvin Russell.
I think that. My opinion, I think the mom. She went to Miami. She played at Miami.
Trying to get money.
I think she might be just trying to get him away from here. It's a tough when you grow up here sometimes, and you got the friends still here. You know what I mean? It's a tough deal, and especially if you want the best for your kid. And that means those guys are still available to your kid. And maybe she might be just saying, hey, send him up there. Maybe it might be a basketball thing. I don't know. So, hopefully by the end of the year, he sees the light and he's coming on home to the mighty, mighty Hurricanes. You can play football and you can play basketball for Ja.
Yeah. All right, let's go front four.
We talked about it. They are bringing it. And they're playing well. You got the regular guys in there, but then you bring the pass rush guys in there on third down with Lightfoot and Blunt, and Moulton and those guys playing in the regular downs. It is a beautiful thing to watch. When you see 12 and was it 12? What's 12 is Lightfoot, right?
Yes.
And what number is Blunt?
18.
When you see those guys running in there, oof, You just know, boy, it's nothing but speed.
To go with Bain and Mesidor?
To go to Bain and Mesidor. And I tell you what, Mesidor is making some money for himself so far. Bain is doing his thing, but Mesidor, they keep playing like this and they can sustain it for how many games, they're truly making some money for themselves.
They definitely are. Yeah, and you can't forget about Moten and Blay on the interior, and that was a definite weakness coming into the season. But they're doing a great job on first down.
So I watch what those guys do. It makes it hard for you to run up the middle. It really does. And what happens is guys starting in the middle, they try to bounce outside. Bain runs it down. Mesidor runs it down from the backside.
Yeah,
it's hard to run against them.
Yeah,
they pretty much block up that middle.
Yeah, they just got to give you first down, man. Like that's their side, and they're doing it. They're way better than anybody imagined that they would hold up. So kudos to those guys. All right, let's take it home, LT, with Mario Cristobal.
He already knows the formula. We got to win the game this off week. The game within the game. Make sure those guys don't get complacent. Make sure they understand the task at hand, and they get better, and they be smart. Take care of yourself. Don't do anything stupid. We're nationally ranked. There's a great opportunity for us to stay within the team and teammates. Help your teammates. That's what we'll always preach. Help your teammates, guide your teammates, help them in any way. If they're doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, yank them and say, nah, we got too much riding on this. And I think Mario knows the formula, and everything is well right now. So next week, we'll see. I said I wasn't going to go to any practice, but I might have to sneak down there. Might have to sneak down there.
You might have to get down there.
Sneak down there. Yeah, I might have to sneak.
Well, we don't go on vacation at the Lamar Thomas Show either. So we'll be back next Wednesday, even though there's not a game to talk more about this Florida State game. We'll try to have a good guest or two for you guys and break it down a little bit more. And it's going to be an exciting week next week. I hope Florida State takes care of business Friday night. Don't diminish what next week's going to be by being sloppy up there at Virginia. Find a way to win that game. Let's have 2 undefeated, Miami, Florida State. Probably get game day back again in that scenario, and it'll just be a big damn day up there at Doak Campbell Stadium.
That's right. Game day with a cutoff trailer, triple wide trailer.
Yeah.
Trailer Hassett, here we come.
It'll be back in the days when you played, Lamar. So let's come on, Florida State. Take care of business on Friday night. All right, we got to thank Kez McCorvey for being our special guest tonight. Second leading receiver in Florida State history. Gave us a little insight on a lot of different subjects. And we got to thank Caneswear for sponsoring tonight's show. You've heard us talk about it all night. You see the store in the background behind Lamar and myself. Anything you need Canes related, it's been on the bottom of your screen the whole show. 2655 South University Drive in Davie, caneswear.com. Anything you need Miami Hurricanes related, really Panthers, Inter Miami. I'm not mentioning the Dolphins again. Panthers, Inter Miami. They've got gear for other teams too. So get on over to Caneswear when you get a chance, and you could shop them at caneswear.com 24 hours a day. So no excuses. We're not going to be home for a while, so I'm not going to tell you to go before the game for a few more weeks. But check out Caneswear at caneswear.com. If you don't live near the store, you won't be sorry. They got something for everybody.
Thank our viewers. Got
to thank all you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Like I said, we'll be back next Wednesday night for you. For Lamar, I'm Gary. Thanks again. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Go Canes.